Here we
Good
are.
morning.
Good morning. It's nice to see you. Happy Monday morning.
Happy Monday morning. It's early.
It's early, but I'm ready. It's
Early,
beautiful
but I'm ready.
outside. There's a cool
Totally
crisp
ready.
in the air. Tell me about your weekend.
Well, I got to do some photography at my new listing, or my coming soon listing. We did some shots of the neighborhood, which is Old Town Lincoln Park neighborhood, the greater Old Town, as I like to refer to it. We'll talk more about that later. But it could not be a prettier time of year to have to have a listing go live. I mean, as green and beautiful as every neighborhood is right now. How about yours? What did you do this weekend?
Well, I had kind of a funny weekend, I have to tell you. You obviously were not watching my virtual open house live because you missed the faux pas of the century.
Tell me.
Okay. So I've got the video camera and I'm going like this on the Facebook Live. And this is the front door. This is where you come into the unit. And let me show you these beautiful hallways. Door clicks. I'm locked out. The keys are inside.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine? So I'm very calm. I go, okay, so seems we're locked out. I'm going to show you the beautiful hallways and the elevator bank. I calmly walk down the hallway and I show the elevator bank and I say, well, since we can't get in and do a second tour, I'm going to sign off for now until I can get back in. Click.
Okay, so now you've told me, because we have to learn something from everybody else's yikes. Keep an extra key in your pocket.
Number one. And number two,
unlock all the doors.
Little buttons in the door.
Yeah.
Turn them when you come in. Unbelievable. Yeah. So anyhow, all's well that ends well. I was able to get the building key and get back in. And then I actually did a quick shot live back in the unit.
Yeah, here I am. Nothing happened. Here.
So that was that. So that was my funny moment. And I have to say I was a little disappointed this weekend because I thought I was getting an offer on the 310 Michigan. That's my 2-bedroom for $45 overlooking Grant Park. I love that unit. So this wonderful woman came relocating from LA, not my buyer. She was going to buy. The doorman was even doing a song and dance about how great the building was. It was this magical moment. She was ready to move in. And then she balked on the assessments. So this gets to something we agents come up against all the time. When you advertise first of all, when you advertise your assessments, if you're going to advertise the parking, you need to include it in your assessments, right? Which is what I did. We're listed for $485 with parking. The assessments in total are $1,143 per month for a 2-bedroom.
That's not bad at all. Where you are located, holy moly.
Including parking, including heat, including air with a $30 a month electric bill, including 200 channels of cable and Wi-Fi. So
that's almost nothing. And staff, that's the difference.
Oh yeah, full staff. You know, but don't you have a lot of buyers now that say, oh, I don't want to pay a lot of assessments? But then it comes out in the wash. They either get a special assessment or their packages are just thrown into the lobby with nobody helping them to get them. Especially with COVID, we've got packages flying every which way.
Well, it's packages, but it's also with, I'll use my COVID because I live in a full service building too. Something breaks.
Right.
Something, so for example, I was hearing this beep. One of the annoying, the batteries run out of a fire alarm beep.
Right.
And I told the building, they of course thought it was my unit, but I actually can reach my fire alarm and change my own battery. But it was down the hall. It was one of the hall fire. They take care of it. It's just I'd call, taken care of.
Right.
And
the
so
filters on your HVAC, all that stuff.
And if something actually broke, it would be important. I mean, it's just little things where you don't have to think about it. And it really does come out in the wash. If you live in a building that has very, very low assessments, you're paying for other stuff yourself.
Exactly.
and inconvenience yourself.
Right. Right.
Like I can have even one of my um, contractors come in, but the building will let them in if I ask them to do it.
Yeah.
I don't have to be there. At home, you are your own general contractor.
You are right. Well, and it's also kind of a risk management situation in that when you're at home, when your roof goes, boy, you got to just do it. With them, they plan, they do an engineering study, they know they have to replace things on an ongoing basis. It's just
You share the cost.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So anyway, then I had one more thing happen this weekend. I sold a condo. And
Yay.
this one was at Sandburg Village. And, I hadn't shown in Sandburg for a while. And so it was just kind of brought back good memories. For those of you who may not know, Sandburg Village is that group of condominiums and townhouses between Division, 1200 North and North Avenue, 1600 North, between Clark and LaSalle. And Kyle, having grown up in the city around there, you know the history, but, that was flop houses in the 60s when that was put up. And, with 2,600 units, it was kind of a gamble for the city. But it was the beginning of urban renewal in the Gold Coast, and a lot of things happened in the 60s after Sandburg went up. And it just reminded me that it was done by Solomon Cordwell Benz
Oh, really?
and John Cordwell. And I don't know if you ever met John Cordwell,
I
but
did. I went to school with his kids.
oh yeah. So I met him and Colin at the Red Lion, the famous pub on Lincoln Avenue, almost across from the Biograph where John Dillinger was shot. Talk about local history. And that's where I really learned to love Irish stew. And oh yeah, they just served the old goodies there. But John would talk about how he was an RAF pilot shot down. He was a prisoner of war and made the big escape, or tried to make the big escape. But anyway, that's the little Chicago history in Sandburg Village. This was a gorgeous 1-bedroom on the 26th floor overlooking the city. So it had a lake, Lincoln Park view. Kitchen was redone. Bathroom was impeccable. Bamboo floors. Everything was gorgeous. Corner unit with the balcony for $300,000. It was so, so charming. But in the meantime, there were 2 other units that were really good if you have buyers. One was, we looked at Kilmer House, 1555 Sandburg, and that's the low-rise brown one on Clark across from Potash. And it was a back 1-bedroom, so it had a ground floor patio that was like 25 feet wide by 18 feet wide. The thing was enormous patio with 6-foot brick wall all around, built-in planters. Okay, so huge seating. And that thing was listed for $310, but it's an estate sale. It didn't show very well, so but that is patio space like that in the Gold Coast, amazing.
And patio space like that for a 1-bedroom in the Gold Coast.
Yes, I know, right?
Holy.
So that's a good buy. Somebody needs to jump on it. It's been on the market for a while. And then there was a 2-bedroom listed at $1,360 we went into that showed, not so good, but it was in that same price range, like $325 for a 2-bedroom in Sandburg. Oh, come on, people. You're in the heart of everything right there. It's such a great opportunity.
I've had friends who grew up there. I mean, that's a place you can raise a family in some of these 2, and there's some 3-bedrooms in some of the in the townhouses.
Townhouses are
really
great.
raise a family, and and people live there for decades because they're convenient, comfortable, good staff. There's a ton of amenities. They've got pools, tennis courts. If you join the association amenities, it's really a great place.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
excellent. Well
so
done.
that was my weekend. Yeah.
I
Anything
went
else?
to one more thing. I went to Michigan yesterday with clients who are looking at getting a second home in Michigan. And so I went as their advisor. I don't have a license in Michigan, but we can help people really anywhere. And I connected them with a broker
Nice.
in Michigan. Yeah. So
Where-
it was really good.
Are they in the New Buffalo area or?
In the Harbor Country area. Yeah.
Yeah. Terrific.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great places over there. That's a good second home location.
Sure is. And so close to Chicago. Okay, so what have you got today for us?
Well, you want to look at the hot sheet first? I've got my hot sheet.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Share screen. Desktop. Oh, we put that down. And pull up Oops. There we go.
There we go.
All right, so we're looking today again at the Loop hot sheet, and it's been a busy week. There were 10 properties that went under contract in the last 7 days.
That's really good.
Yeah, and look at all the new that are coming on. We're working to change our inventory. Look, we've got 23 new listings that came up.
Mhm.
Few price changes, canceled as always to relist. And then it's a good time to mention that we categorize pending different than contingent. Contingents will show up in the IDX feed. So if a property is under contract within the first week, you'll still see it as active. So it's a big frustration for some buyers that they see a property and they call me and they say, oh, what about this property? And I say, well, it's under contract because it's that first 7 days. After the 7 days and the attorney signs off and the buyer signs off on the inspection, they'll mark it pending, which is what we see here. Excuse me. And then it drops off the IDX feed and then the buyers won't see it. So
Wait, Ann, but for some people who have a mortgage contingency, doesn't it wait until there's a clear to close or the mortgage contingency expires?
it depends. Some people will mark them as a financial contingency. Some people will just say they're pending.
Okay, because I tend personally to leave mine as contingent until the mortgage contingency goes away.
So then people will see your listings and think
And
they're
see that they're
available and
contingent
not.
until all the contingencies go.
Yeah. Okay. So what I did was I pulled off some interesting listings to show you here. So in the Loop neighborhood, we have Lakeshore East as well as the Cultural Mile. A lot of people will drive by these and say, what is that? Well, these are these funky newer townhouse / condos at Lakeshore East. And this one just came on the market. It's listed for $2.3 million. And let me pull my mouse up here. Listed for $2.3 million. And it's 3,900 square feet. I'll show you a couple pictures here. This is slow. I need a better way to do it. Come on, baby. There.
Ooh.
They're really nice units. The only problem with them is they're a little limited in the amount of light they have. This one has a roof deck. So that's a new listing. Then the other one is 330 South Michigan, just went under contract. So this is just south of my building. And so you're right at Van Buren and Michigan Avenue at this point. And this was a 2-bedroom for $395. They reduced it from $435. Look at that. But nice unit. I mean, gives you good light, nice view.
Were those skylights?
It looks like it, doesn't it? I would have to go back and look and see.
I think that's a skylight.
Yeah, I think they said it was a top floor unit. Okay,
Yeah.
and then the Legacy. You know, again, the Legacy is a great building in the Loop. It's the tall glass tower, and they kept the facade on Wabash, but the entrance is actually on Monroe, and thus it has the address of 60 Monroe. It connects to the University Club, and it's a really popular building, 355 units built in 2009. And this just closed for $1,350,000. And it is a rare unit because they don't usually have these tall ceilings like this, but I thought this was fun to point out.
That is stunning.
Isn't that stunning?
It's like you're hovering over the lake. It's beautiful.
Yeah, look at that. Full amenity building. They've got indoor pool, fabulous workout room. As I said, they connect to the University Club. Isn't that stunning? The den overlooking the harbor there. I just thought that was really fun. So that's my hot sheet for you. I'm going to stop sharing and come back. Your turn.
Well, I thought today would be a fun day to take a look at the Old Town Triangle. So I mentioned earlier that there was the Old Town, that my new listing is in Old Town Lincoln Park.
Right.
People have expanded the Old Town brand to include areas south of North Avenue and north of Wisconsin, and they've really tried to make it, because it's such a great brand.
Mhm.
But really, Old Town used to be just the triangle, which is, let me describe it. It is, if you start west at the southwest at North and Larrabee, go east on North Avenue to Wells, north on Wells to pretty much, but not entirely, Armitage.
Mhm.
And then the hypotenuse of the triangle
Well, look out.
I
The
know,
hypotenuse of the triangle is what? I
is
love that.
what
Monday
used to
morning.
be Ogden Avenue, which during, and you mentioned this earlier, during the late 60s with urban renewal, they cut off Ogden at Chicago, just a little bit north of Chicago Avenue, and sold off all that land of those roads to developers, and they were filled in. But you can still sort of see from the development line where those properties come through, especially at the east side of it. You can see where, Rinaldi's Pizza is right on that hypotenuse going right to Lincoln Park. So that is the triangle, the Old Town Triangle. And this weekend would have been, I'm about to share my screen, so hold on. It's going to be dangerous. Hold on. There we go. Okay, now, hi, there we go. So pictures from the Old Town Triangle Art Fair every year. In a
I
smaller,
missed it this year. Yeah, my husband and I were on the board at Menominee Club for Boys and Girls, and so we worked the gate at Old
you
Town
sure
Art Fair
did.
for years. And one of my favorite events of the year, for
It's
sure.
always the second Saturday and Sunday of June, and either it's broiling hot, freezing cold, rainy,
Yeah.
whatever, but it is always a party.
I
And
love these pictures. Thanks
aren't
for
these
sharing them.
pictures
Yeah, they're
great?
great. Yeah.
There's food, there's music.
So many of our clients have art in their homes that they bought at this fair.
Absolutely. And this person right here is the person who's in charge of throwing it, my sister. And this year she spent a lot of time, unfortunately, having to organize the letting go of the art fair, of unraveling all the planning that the artists and the community had done to set it up. And I was trying to see if I could get a picture of the Menominee Club, as you mentioned it. It's right next door to this building, which is the Old Town Association.
Yeah.
But really a great time by all and the whole city. So anyway, and there's my sister again, very just sad to let it go this year. But anyway, the reason why we're telling you about Old Town is it's a great place to live. My sister and I, my family grew up in Old Town. We moved in right in the early 70s, right after urban renewal had started. And it was a very different place. It was very working class, very old, not well maintained buildings. And then people started to move in and invest, and the great stuff became even better, and the new stuff and a lot of new stuff came into being. Ours was a new house, but some people took older buildings, like some of these wonderful coach houses, these muse houses, and turned them in and remodeled them and turned them into single family homes. And it's really a great neighborhood, but it's not just fancy houses. One of the great things about Old Town is there are renters, there are condos, and there are single family homes. So I'm taking you to the sheet, a search that I did of what's available right now in the Old Town Triangle. So here you see there are 34 properties, one of which is a multi-unit on Sedgwick, but it's not, it's only 2 units. And so these people are suggesting that you could either turn this into a single family home or keep it as an investment property, or even have you live in one and rent out the other. but it's a home on Sedgwick, just near Eugenie, across from Twin Anchors. A
You
very
know,
fun pub.
Twin Anchors. And did you ever see the movie Return to Me?
Was that with Minnie Driver?
Yes, filmed at Twin
did.
Anchors. So, okay, so all of you who love Chicago movies and love old movies, Minnie Driver, David Duchovny, he's an architect working at the Lincoln Park Zoo, so there's a lot of good zoo shots, and Twin Anchors. It was just a charming movie, and I could just watch it over and over again.
Wait, an architect working at the zoo?
Yeah, they were like redoing the ape house or something in this, whatever.
All righty. So that's a multi-unit. But there are also, so for example, there are 5 single-family homes for sale, and they range in price from $850.
$850 for a single-family home?
I know. I thought this would go really fast, because also it's in the Lincoln School District, everybody, which for a lot of people is it's one of the very strong school districts in the city of Chicago. One of many strong, but this one's strong too. But it's a cute house, and here's the thing. It has parking.
Oh, wow.
3 of the 5 houses in Old Town do not have parking. They have street parking, or you can rent parking nearby. But this cute house at $850 has outdoor space.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
So just sort of darling. You could easily raise a family and send your kids to good schools in Lincoln Park. So there's that one. And then the most expensive, go to Liz, of the houses also has parking, and it's on Concord, which is Concord Place, which is 1 block north of North Avenue, on a really cute street that doesn't get a lot of traffic, which is nice.
Yeah, it is a nice, quiet street. That is a charming
Isn't that charming? And it has a 2-car garage in the back. 2-car garage. There are only a few houses that have 2-car garages. But really very charming.
Oh, wow.
This is just under 1.8 million. For all this newly redone space, looks pretty good.
Yeah,
it does. Right in the heart of things.
3-bedroom or 4?
Let's see. It says it's 4 bedrooms.
4 bedroom, 4.5 bath. Okay, yeah.
And 2-car garage with outdoor space. It's a deck on top of the garage.
And that's also in Lincoln School District.
They're all in Lincoln Park. All of these are Lincoln School District.
And then if you get into LaSalle, it's right around the corner too. So
exactly.
Wow.
And you are 2 blocks away from the Brown line that zips you into the loop or takes you to Wrigley Field. I mean, just as nice as can be.
And that Sedgwick bus is that's a good little honey bus.
That is, but I love a bus, but yes. Yeah, okay.
So
then there are 28, I think. Yeah, 28 condos for sale. And so just to give you
the Crilly Court. You see the 1709?
Oh, I love the Crilly Court one.
Yeah.
But that has no parking. It's beautiful. Where are you? Here we go.
Well, there's one at Crilly. Yeah.
Oh, it's gorgeous. And but they don't, I don't think they show this well enough, is this common sort of alley that is fenced off, that you can have parties in, and it's sort of a shared alley. It's really very charming. So let's just see if they show that. See, it's off this deck. You can see the back of a condo building across the way. Look at, I'm moving in. There we go. We do. You see there, this is all the outdoor space. Oh, it's beautiful. Anywho, now going to what you can get for condos. So there are a whole bunch of inexpensive. So here is
Americana Towers.
Americana Towers, and it's this is, I think, this is the least expensive you'll pay, but it's an entry level. It looks like it's a studio.
But 174 price point on the 25th floor. Too bad it was a cloudy day and there aren't good pictures, because
probably done by somebody.
A tenant recently moved out. Okay, there you go. That's maybe why it
Yeah,
doesn't.
so it's a good investment property,
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. In
Assessments
town.
415.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Taxes 3,000. And yeah, and don't include homeowners. That's a nice in-town apartment.
yeah, easy.
Starter first.
And right
Yeah,
in the
I like
middle
it.
of everything.
Yeah.
And they've got a view over all the rooftops because it's one of the few high rises in the area. So you've got a nice view too. Okay, so. And
Have
then,
you heard anything about what's going into the Treasure Island space there?
I've heard a bunch of things. They sold it for 11 million, but I'm not entirely
Yeah,
certain. I mean,
haven't
there've
heard
been
anything.
rumors, but I don't think that anyone's really made an announcement. Now, one of the interesting things for just the triangle is look at how much the most expensive condo is there. It's $859,900. That's not bad. And
No.
this is actually an apartment that I thought was interesting.
The
At the
St.
time
Michael's, yeah.
at the time I was showing it or wanting to show it to a client, a longtime tenant was moving out of it. This was a developer's unit, and they had not kept it in great shape, and so it was not really showable. But now they've emptied it out. So this one of the great things about this condo is there's lots of parking available for this. But look at this.
Yeah, it's fun.
Big, open, unique kind of space. You can really do whatever you want and make it your own. It's going to require some investment because it's been lived in for 20 plus years by a tenant.
What's the price on this again?
This is $859,000, and this is the asking price, $859,900.
Okay.
Yeah, very doable. Tons of space.
Not cookie cutter, and that's what I like about those.
Yes, and you're right in the heart of it. You're right
Yeah,
by
next to
St. Michael's
Michael's.
Church.
Yeah.
And during Old Town Weekend, there's bands that play nearby.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
fun.
as fun and charming as you could ever imagine. So that's what you get today in the Old Town Triangle.
Oh, that's a great tour. Thank you.
Yeah, what else have we got?
Well, you know what? We're at the half-hour mark. I don't know if we want to jump into any more or not. It's up to you.
No. Well, let's save some for next week.
Yeah, let's do that. Just quickly to sum up, the market is picking up. You've been busy. I've been busy. Showings are kicking in. It's been a really great week. Still low inventory based on price points. I was doing a search yesterday on InfoSparks, and inventory ranges in our marketplace from 4 months for properties under 500,000 up to 16 months for the 1.5 and up. So we have lots and lots of luxury, in part due to new construction, but first-time buyers, we need listings for these buyers who are looking, like my buyer this weekend, who was a first-time buyer. So, all signs point, according to Steve Harney and his group at Keeping Current Matters, to a V-shaped recovery fueled by the housing market. So I'm very optimistic. How about you?
Absolutely. And listen, if anybody who's watching this has questions, please send us comments or in our Facebook page, and we will.
Or if you have any
topics that
you
interest
want us
you.
to check out next week. Morning, 6:30 a.m. on Facebook Live. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.